Going. Today I've got some extra train noise in the background for you. So I hope you can hear that and enjoy it. So today I've got a special drawing because I received a donation from one Michael Todd, who is my favorite front end developer named Michael. But basically, he said draw any Star Wars character, which is an awesome little challenge. So I'm gonna draw my favorite Star Wars character, which is Han Solo. I mean, Luke is awesome, and I think Rey is phenomenal. Like, I've really enjoyed watching the new trilogy with Rey. I know people are maybe not quite as happy with the entirety of the trilogy, but I still think Rey's really awesome. But all-time favorite, it's your friend and mine, Han Solo. He's just awesome. He is a scoundrel. He's just fun. He always brings the comic relief, which is really cool. So I love Han. So we're gonna dive in here, and I'm gonna draw just sort of a more typical kind of Han nonchalant pose. Like, that's part of what I love about Han is he's so just casual and laid back, like the world's exploding around him, and he's just kind of like whatever, right? And he mostly, I don't know, doesn't really take anything seriously either. So it's pretty hilarious. But anyway, so I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna start to draw Han. He's gonna be sort of just standing doing his Han, just being all Han-y, just being relaxed and chill. So let's go with these guys. So I've got a HB lead, so I believe that this is a little bit harder lead. So last time I had some smudging when I drew Grant, but this time this hopefully should help resolve that. So just like always, gonna lay out my figure here. Yeah, so already his shoulders were a little high, but that's okay. So torso. Actually gonna kind of stand straight up here a little bit. Get him one of these. I think he's got a pretty classic pose where he's just like standing and just like holding his blaster. So I think I'm gonna go for that. Again, so I've already kind of screwed up my proportions here. His knees should be a little bit higher. Shin should be a little bit longer. That's okay. We're rocking, we're in the like skeleton wireframe phase, right? So very nonchalant, so his shoulder should actually drop a little bit. Should kind of come out maybe about here-ish. Han's kind of tall. Oh, hi, thanks, Emily. $15 from Emily. Drum, you rock. Thank you so much. So here we're gonna do one of these guys, and then it's kind of hard with this one because like the last two that I did were video game characters, so they were real comic booky, so they were just like super, contorted and crazy and whatever. And Han is like not that. I mean, he has some of his other like classic poses where he's like crouching with the pistol, but I still feel like some of those, as awesome as they are just, they're almost a little bit more too involved for what Han is. Part of what makes Han special is just how laid back he is and how just kind of like, again, kind of whatever, So again, we're gonna go up here. just kind of laying this out. So I feel like I might have made his hips actually a little wide. I'm gonna correct. Let's go my lovely eraser here. Let's get in here. And again, full disclosure, like this is still like, I haven't done much figure drawing since college. And that's longer ago than I care to admit. So proportions might be a hair off here and there. Still doesn't feel quite right. Feels like his waist should be a little higher. But yeah, remember this is actually the hard part. This is like getting this, like the skeletal structure right. It's really important so that it's not just sort of contorted and weird. So, okay, so let's put some meat on Han's bones here. Let's get it going. So Han's got like his classic kind of long tunicky thing, right? So kind of does one of these. And that's way too low. Just more like, we'll just keep it straight for now. We can add folds and fabric and stuff like that later. So yeah, see that again is like, so maybe I might have had his waist correct originally. Sorry, I know it's really fun to watch me just continually make the same mistakes here, but so if his elbow's about there, is, you know, a little bit above there. I think we're okay proportionally. So let's get Han's like kind of classic vest going here. It's like kind of tapering out. I feel like actually his shoulders might be a little bit far out. Let's get more meat on here and see how we're doing. Again, just general to specific here, right? So just sort of roughing this in and seeing if it feels right. So actually, it's working out a little bit better than I thought it would proportionally. So just putting the meat on the bones here, you know, doing one of these. Actually, I don't feel like his blaster should be quite as far out. Initially, I was going to have it kind of holding it further out, but that's like seems really unnatural. So we'll do more of a top down. So it'll be more like this. So I have his hand sort of up here. Doing one of these. With his blaster right there. Cool. Yeah, I picked the right lead. It's not smudging nearly as much last time. And so he's got his classic pistol here, or sorry, blaster. I'm just roughing this guy in again, just like everything else. I think it like kind of funnels out a little bit, maybe something like that. So there we go, a little bit. His shoulder, problem here is his shoulders are a little too far out. This is the difference between drawing like a real lifey kind of person and a video game type of person. You know, they're not these like unnatural, crazy musculature or muscled guys, right? Like they're, you know, Harrison Ford is actually a person. It's actually a person who I love. Actually, I think he did a pretty good job as old Han too. In Force Awakens, I wish I could have seen even more of Han, but you know, kind of is what it is. All right, so I think we're feeling a little bit better here. So just so I can get some sense, sometimes it helps to put like the belt in place. And I think he's got one of these, like one of these situations maybe. I think that's right. His legs are chunky. He doesn't have crazy terrible ankles there. Sorry, I need coffee from my sweet Voltron mug. Voltron holding a guitar. Gift from my son. I dearly love it. Anyway. Okay. So now just coming back in with some refinements. So his arm is a little too long here, I now realize. His arm should be a little bit higher. This is mostly from memory, yeah. This is I glanced at some pictures of Han a little while ago. Michael threw out, hey, you should draw a Star Wars character, and I was like, shit. I don't know that I've ever really drawn a Star Wars character. And then naturally, when you're in that moment, you just completely blank on what somebody looks like. So I did kind of cheat and look up right before this, but yeah. All right, so let's get here. So he's got his like little tunic situation. I think it's like a V kind of deal, right? And kind of comes like a little up or something. So now his head's working out to be just a smidge high, which is easily correctable. So I did this one the opposite of the other guys, where I started with the head. The poses lent themselves to going head first a little bit better, but this one sort of worked out to lay out the body and then circle back here. So let's get Han in here with his strong, rugged scoundrel jaw. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to nail any kind of likeness to Harrison Ford. That'd be amazing, but it's not going to stop me from trying. All right, so again, lines, center of the head this way, basically center of the head. I'm going to try to make Han's face look a little bit longer, so his eyes are going to be a little bit further up than they should be. That might bite me in the butt, but we'll see. And I feel like he needs like an arched eyebrow. Not sure if he did that, but he's an arched eyebrow. And he's got the typical like kind of Harrison Ford. It's not a smirk, it's not a smile. It's just Harrison Ford being Harrison Ford, being all charming. All right, so let's get the eyes here. Ooh, that's why we do pencil. Still can't quite get that eye right. We'll figure it out. That's a problem for me like 5 minutes from now when I start inking this thing. Let's go back in here a little bit. I think his chin's just a little rounded, a little too rounded. He's got to be, he's got that Harrison Ford. There it is. There's that chin. There we go. I'm not sure. He's got the mark on his chin. Might be on the other side. The famous Harrison Ford scar. Cool. And then he's got, let's see here. Let's come back in. Let's get to the hair. So I think his hair is like a kind of like a whoop. Oh, and I forgot to do. No, it's not really necessary because his ears are here. But usually I put the ears in place just so I make sure I've got my my bearings right. I think he's got a little bit more. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's quite right. We'll see. We'll see how that comes out with the inking here. Do it momentarily. So now we've got that. Let's come back and clean up some of this actually, just so I don't screw myself up. Let's get this. Let's get this. Get more layered. Okay. So now let's clean up some of these. And this. Han's like little tunicky thing is kind of loose, so let's give it that. So it's open. Again, this is the point where you come back in to start refining. I kind of lied. I said I was going to go to the boots a second ago, I think, and now I'm stuck on the hand, but that's all right. So here we go with this. Cool. Again, that might not be completely right, but we'll go with it. Oh, and he's got the little scope thingy, I guess. Never see him actually use it, but okay. So there's this, there's that guy. And then his hand is probably just kind of open. If I say open, then I make it clenched. Come back and clean that up in a little bit. So here's this. Gosh, his legs still just feel chunky. I'm kind of overcompensating for his boots. So I know he's got like big boots, but still just kind of. Maybe that's a little better. Again, he's not like a muscle-bound guy, right? He's an actual human being. So you don't have like the normal stuff that you fall back to from drawing a comic book character. All right, let's go back and clean up some of these guys right here. Man, this I still get flashbacks doing this to like drawing class in college. There's one class, one of my first drawing classes, where the professor had us spend, I think, 2 or 3 days just making marks on paper. And he'd walk around, we'd all be like leaned over our easels, we're all freshmen, we're all, kind of nervous, right? The prof's gonna tear you a new one or something during crit. And walks by and would just go, that's a nice mark. That mark, not so nice. I think part of it was a scare tactic. I'm not convinced that it actually did anything for learning how to draw. holster for his blaster, of course. All right, so we're getting there. So I feel like we can confidently erase some of our skeletal lines here, or the last of our skeletal lines rather. So that's like the hardest part, like right before inking, is you can sort of convince yourself, or confuse yourself rather, what was like a skeletal form line versus something that was necessary. Speaking of necessary, I kind of needed that line, and I just erased it. This doesn't feel like his vest has enough flare. That might come. Oh, he's got one of those pockets. That's right. He had one of those pockets in Force Awakens where it was like this, like, 3 things. I don't want to know what the 3 things were. Wouldn't really listen to him talk. Just kind of wondering what those things were. All right, I think we're feeling pretty good. I think it's good to start inking. That was, hard graphite pencil, hard lead. And so now, nothing fancy, just a plain old Sharpie. So now I'm gonna go for the hardest part first. Some of it too is like, I know this isn't a long drawing, but sometimes you can get, I don't know, a little fatigued going through if you spend too much time adding detail to the wrong spot. So I'm going to go ahead and start with his face. I'm just gonna dive right in. So. Especially because this is always the hardest part. It's the damn eyes. All right, that worked out better than I thought it would. Okay, we're okay. We're cooking. It's so hard with hair like this to not make it look like a freaking helmet. I swear. Han had these like just flowing sort of locks, right? So now this is where the fun part comes. You can start adding a little bit of this detail, right? So now his hair can start to feel a little bit less like a helmet. Got some of these guys going through here. All right, cool. Doing. So now let's get down into the neck here. And he's got his kind of like loose tunic situation going on. Cool. Might have gone a little low cut there, but we'll see. Okay. Oh boy, not sure now what I did with that hand. We'll fix it later though. Cool. Let's see here. How about we do a little belt situation? I think it was just like a simple buckle. I mean, it probably wasn't. It was like a total Han custom thing, I'm sure, but again, his little holster thing. So, and by the way, shameless plug. If you're watching, you can actually subscribe in the actual player, so you can check out when I go live. I'm gonna try to do this on Wednesdays at lunch consistently if I can, but also try to sprinkle maybe through a couple other days during the week. Fridays seem like a good day to do this as well. So I'm keeping it pretty general. You know, we're not going to get into like Todd McFarlane levels of grittiness and inking and proposed realism and stuff like that, but nevertheless, I always liked that Han was like kind of wiry too. He's kind of tall and wiry. I'm a tall guy, so I identified with that. Now let's see here. I'm realizing I completely screwed up the placement of his blaster. I'll fix that here in a second. The handle's okay. But this would be the trigger here, which would mean the blaster needs to move up like a quarter of an inch. So hey, let's do that. Always put the cap back on your pen, your Sharpie. You never know when you're gonna just have to like walk away from it. And then you have a dried out pen when you come back. And that's sad. You know, I actually don't know if I did a great job on the blaster to begin with, so take a mulligan on that guy. All right, so here's this. So now let's go with, you know, the trigger handle guy. And then this is one of these, like, it gets a little tricky. He's holding it, it's got perspective, so it's slanty, so it's the force shortening's happening. So I'm just gonna work a little general to specific again, of course. So again, he's got like this whole thing, and then okay, that's more on point. All right, so let's come back in, let's ink this guy. And I just remembered, I keep forgetting to grab my my bigger Sharpie for like areas of you know, more dark, you know. got just a little bit bigger one. This is a fine, I think. Fine or ultra fine? What is this? Ultra fine. Find these everywhere. But I've got whatever's just a couple steps above this. All right. You know, I think that's pretty good. So now, before we do more inking, we'll do some shadow. I'm gonna go 3B. I've got my pencils all screwed up. I think I want this guy. The other thing that's fun is just rocking the old school pencil sharpener. Oh, that was dumb. Yeah, this is a nice soft lead, so I can shade a larger area more quickly. So, for example, like his vest, you know, was a little bit darker. So I'm gonna shade this, and then this will be like a multi-pass thing. So I'll come back in and I'll try to add little bits and bobs to make it feel like folds in fabric and stuff like that. There are some really loud dogs outside, apparently. And then I'll try to do one of these, so give it like a different hatch. Cool, so let's keep on keeping on. That was actually kind of dumb. I should have done the left side first because there's now a high probability that I'm going to go. Which, if I get more into it, I might pick up some blending stumps that are just like rolled pieces of paper that you can use to blend this. So I can actually, I don't have anything here. I can use my finger a little bit. So with these softer leads, you know, you can blend them. So it's kind of fun, you know. But cruising in here. Oh goodness, I didn't figure out what to do with Han's hand. Let's see. Ooh. Just gonna let that go. Just gonna shade this guy. Still working with some pretty blunt tools here. Back in the day, during drawing, we had these erasers that were basically like mechanical pencils. So they just you know click on one side and just go spit out the eraser on the other end. It's really cool. You can get into some like really really detailed erasure. So you can do cool stuff with like negative space and whatnot. That was always fun. Cool. So now I'm getting like just sort of some like, oh, I was talking earlier, like some little shirt folds maybe. Sweet. And so now this is when I can come back in here and again start to add a little bit of shadow there, just to accentuate areas. And then again, it's always have to be cognizant of light source. So I typically like to just pretend that the light source is coming from the top down. Just makes shadows easier. So shadows will fall directly underneath chins and folds of clothing and stuff like that. So by virtue of that, you know, you shade some of these things. You know, so if I'm doing more things like that. Cool. So now I'm just gonna do the boots really quick. And that's when you can also change grips. So of course, as you do this, you can see my grip is like really high. I'm gonna move really quick, sort of hatchy like this, versus like getting like real tight in on certain areas. So if I apply more pressure like right here, for example, or under here, you know, that gets darker. All right, sweet. Let's do hair. Leave a couple. You know, it's a drawing, so there's always like some overcompensation for light hitting the hair. This is Young Han, by the way, obviously. Just 1 second. Go ahead. Come on.
I know I had this either.
Come on.
Hey, what's he drawing?
Come on, bud.
Wait. Are you drawing?
I am drawing. It's a cameo for my son. Come on, bud.
Oh, poor little guy.
Poor little guy.
I didn't know I had this either.
I don't know, pal. Here, I'll look at it in just a sec, okay? I'm almost done. So a little cameo by my son. Okay, it's a little bit more of this. And then we'll do his blaster. Darken that up. Looking pretty good, I think. He looks kind of like Han, I guess. Cool. So let's do just a little bit more to gruff some things up. So we add some cross hatching. Okay. Just clean up any lines where I didn't connect. So let's see here. So maybe his boots have a little bit of. And always the thing, too, if you're like working on a drawing, is like knowing when to stop and not overwork it. We're getting really close to that spot, so I just wanted to try to add a little more detail wherever I could, but not going to push it too far. Okay, let's see, anything else? We can get around here. Those mysterious Series 3 things that Han has in his pocket. Whatever those things are. Cool. And yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape here. Might be able to call this a drawing. I think we're good. So let's give him a little bit of plane that he's standing on, of course. So yeah, I think we're good. So let's finish this guy off. I feel like that's how Han would solicit a donation. I feel like he would have some kind of like different shaped cool guy balloon. All right, cool. So there we have it. We have Han Solo, or at least a approximation of Han Solo. So if you enjoyed this, pretty please consider leaving a donation. You can do so right down there or kind of over there. Thank you again to Michael Todd for the donation and the inspiration of what to draw today. And thanks to Emily for the extra donation. Bye, guys.